Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another review. This is a paid request, this time for Bobby. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film UHF from 1989. It's a comedy starring Weird Al Yankovic. Kind of his first and only bid to make it into the movies, and this film did not do well at all, although it did get a cult following. It's a fun comedy. It's not entirely successful. It loses a bit of laughs when it gets to the third act with this big telephone thing. But, Weird Al Yankovic was a guy who would do a lot of these song parodies. So instead of Michael Jackson's Beat It, Weird Al Yankovic's version would be Eat It. Just eat it, eat it. Instead of Michael Jackson's Bad, it would be Weird Al Yankovic's Fat. I'm fat, you know it. You know. Let's see, what is it? Instead of Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise, it was Weird Al Yankovic's Amish Paradise. He would keep doing a lot of these parody songs throughout the years. He got very famous with that. Once in a blue moon, he had a little cameo here and there, but that was his claim to fame. And I remember having a VHS tape that had a bunch of music videos that had his parodies onto there. I'm sure you can find them on YouTube. Again, a lot of it's pretty fun stuff. In this, he does do it for a song or two, but it's also for movies as well, like Indiana Jones, Rambo, very fun stuff. I mean, the very beginning is a whole take on Indiana Jones, a parody, where it creates the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but when Indy throws the whip, the set played by Weird Al, it doesn't take the gun out of the guy's hand, it takes the whole arm off. And the Idol, it's an Oscar, and instead of him doing the sand, he's like, screw it, I'm going to take it. It's entertaining to see what he does with these parodies, especially later on, being a Rambo fan, how he does his Rambo parody, because he'll go once in a while into these fits of daydreaming. So like he's trying to rescue Michael Richards, who was Kramer on Seinfeld. He's in the film. He's trying to rescue him, and he's imagining how he's going to do it, and he pretends he's Rambo. He's fighting off the bad guys, and he's blowing up bad guys. Like this fun stuff where he's got the arrow, and the guy's shooting, and the wide shot, they're only 2 feet away. And then Weird Al shoots, and then the guy explodes. Sadly, that was more satisfying than the last Rambo film. Or he catches a bullet with his teeth, which he did well before Ace Ventura did it. Before Ace Ventura did it in Pet Detective, Weird Al caught the bullet with his teeth. But then he blows it back, and the explodes. Or he's firing, and you remember Rambo 2 when he's in the helicopter, and he does a, yeah! Well, this time, he like blows up a bunch of stuff, and each time he's doing a, yeah! Yes! I thought it was a very fun parody of Rambo. And the actual plot of the film is that, like I say, he's a daydreamer. Him and his buddy get fired from this fast food job. He doesn't know what to do, so he gets this UHF TV station. The person he's going out with, their relative has the station. He's able to utilize it. It's down in the dumps. No one expects anything. But then, because of certain changes, including Michael Richards, who's this very goofy janitor, allows him to have his own kid show. But then it catches on. It becomes a very popular kid show. And then people start liking these weird programs that he puts on. Like you get Gedde Watanabe, the guy from 16 Candles, who's like, what's happening, hot stuff? If you ever see a meme with Gedde Watanabe, a guy going, you stupid, you so stupid, it's from this movie. And it is that thing. You may have seen a sequence from this, and you don't. You haven't even seen the movie. So again, if you see people's reviews that they use that clip of an Asian guy going, "You stupid, you so stupid," and yeah, it's from this movie because he's part of this off the cuff game show called Wheel of Fish. And do you want the fish or do you want what's in the box? I'll take the box. There's nothing in it, you so stupid. Of course, nowadays it would be un-PC, but Gedde Watanabe's in on the joke. People are in on the joke. It's not about the fact he's Asian. It's about the ridiculous nature of it. That's what a lot of people don't get about the humor. Is that you take something and you go to the extreme, but then that goes into your type of humor, what type of humor you find funny. Some people find farts funny. I don't. And there were quite a bit of moments that made me chuckle. Like this one bit, which actually comes back to play at the very end, but when Weird Al gets to the TV station, this homeless guy says, "You have change for $1?" Oh, okay. But then the guy actually does have change, so usually, okay, they take the dollar, they go, but the guy keeps going, "Here you go. 50 cents, $1. Thanks, mister." And he walks away. And something about that was... No, he says, "You got change." He says, "You got change?" I didn't... It was clever because it takes you in a different direction than you think. And I know it's a simple little scene, but little moments like that I thought were rather clever that people don't really give credit for. Again, how many times do you have a homeless guy say, "You got change," they give the change, but only he's like, 50 cents, $1? Thanks, mister. And just how nice the guy... I just something about that made me laugh. And it also becomes a very important plot point at the end of the film. But like I said, there... Well, I didn't say it, but I'll say it. There's some recognizable faces. Michael Richards is the goofy janitor. Like I said, he was the guy who was Kramer on Seinfeld. He's the guy that had that blowout, which... He had this big racist rant on stand-up. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. But that definitely killed his career. Because after that, you never saw him again. He was a guy that was trying to do movies. Like he did one called Trial and Error with Jeff Daniels. I did have big parts in movies. He was in Transylvania 65000. Seinfeld, which was the most successful TV show at the time, and I mean, you never heard from him again. And hey, with how Seinfeld was, he was probably living off the residuals and the paychecks for quite a while. For all intents and purposes, he does do a good job in the movie for what he's made to do. Fran Drescher from the TV show The Nanny, this is before that, she's a receptionist, and she's able to be brought up as a newscaster. I thought there would be a bit more to that, where she complains that she's been a receptionist for so long, she always wanted to do the news. And then the next thing we know it, she is on the news. I thought there'd be some kind of transition between that, but there's not. Kevin McCarthy, the star of the original 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's been in a lot of other stuff too. He was in Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. He was in quite a few others. He's been in a few Joe Dante movies. He was in Inner Space. He was in a few others. He plays the competing TV station that's very successful. These guys are small potatoes. There's nothing to them. And what's fun about the film is that you do see... I like when movies make their own TV commercials, their own made-up programs, because that way they're creating a world of their own. I'm not saying it's always successful, but you look at RoboCop, the original RoboCop, and you see the specific commercials they make for that world. and the news programs in RoboCop, the original, where like the astronauts that got loose in space and there was an accident and like the president was there, and or the Running Man, where you had the commercial, stay tuned for the next show, climbing for dollars, and the dogs are chasing the guy who's climbing up the rope and getting all this money and steam blasts him, climbing for dollars, or Jesse Ventura's workout. Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? Because it helps. It's world building. It's another sense of world building. Same with this, where there's like a TV commercial for a store named Spatula City, where it's only spatulas. There's the Conan the Librarian, which the title says it all. There's a talk show like Geraldo, where, for those who don't know, Geraldo was a talk show host back in the day, where like in one program there was a big fight and he got his nose broken, he had some tape around his face. There's another program where, I forget if it was New Year's or some time, where Geraldo Rivera is going to go into Al Capone's vault. And he goes in it, and it's live, and it's all this build-up. Is it riches? Is it a body? No, it's like a few pieces of paper, like nothing else in there. So it was one of the big busts in live TV history. Geraldo and his fucking Al Capone vault. Jesus, it was like a wet fart. It just nothing. So he does a take on that, where there's like lesbian Nazi hookers, or the new action film coming out, Gandhi 2. And Gandhi is like an action hero, like a Steven Seagal type. Like imagine Gandhi, but he's like an 80s action hero, kicking ass, taking names on the bowing crime on the streets. It's that kind of imagination that it's fun to see. Same with Weird Al Yankovic has a daydream as to what kind of programs he could put on here. And he's watching the Beverly Hillbillies and he daydreams a music video. It's based on the song Money for Nothing, but instead it's singing a song about the Beverly Hillbillies, which was one of his songs, so he's able to put, I don't know if he did that specifically for the movie, or he had that and he owned it, so he was able to put it in here. It might be he did that for the movie specifically. I'm a bit surprised he didn't do more of that, because he's known for his music parodies. But I guess it's like, hey, it's a movie. We don't... Maybe if you try to put too many of those, it would get in the way of being less of a movie and more of just a advertisement for his album. Kind of like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, and I like Moonwalker, but if you're telling me which is more of a movie, UHF is more of a movie. But I still like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. But what I like about that is more the first half with the just the music videos. But I guess Weird Al didn't want to do that quite bit of stuff. And Weird Al is fine as the lead. I mean, there are times where he's pushing it and his voice is a little bit iffy. But for a lead role, I thought he did fine. You know, he's not, a Jim Carrey, or he's not a John Candy, or a Chris Farley, or a Bill Murray, but I've seen much worse. I thought he did fine. And like I say, it was cool to see what would happen next, what creativity they would assign next. And yeah, the story, there's little bits here and there. Like there's a love story that I thought kind of at one point it was kind of almost forgotten. And they went, oh yeah, shit, we gotta bring the story back again. And I thought that could have been a bit stronger. honestly, I thought, because it's been a while since I've seen this. I have seen this before, but it's been years and years. I thought he was going to break up with her and get with Fran Drescher. I don't know why I thought that. And Fran Drescher, I don't mind. Yeah, she has that unique voice. But if you keep that laugh under control, I actually don't mind her. You know, with the type of personality, the type of acting she has. I would say Michael Richards does Goofy fairly well. He's with his body language. He's good at pretending to be stupid. And it's pretty much the station ratings get higher and higher until they're number one in town. Kevin McCarthy doesn't like that. So he finds a way to kidnap Michael Richards. And also, hey, you gotta pay $75,000 in 2 days or I'm gonna own it and I'm gonna knock it down and bulldoze it. So then the third ad, you get a telethon. Like, the telethon portion wasn't really funny. It's not meant to be funny, but I thought, okay, we're going to have these programs to really amp up the telethon, and maybe we could get some creative juices flowing with that. But really the only creative was when Weird Al's trying to rescue Michael Richards, and yet he thinks of himself as Rambo. You have the whole Rambo daydream. You know, that saved the finale from being a total bust. It's definitely a movie that's a very wacky, not realistic. It's not in any sort of reality. Like when someone is pinching Weird Al's face, it's this big effect that's like made of rubber, as if Weird Al's Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four. This one character you find out is a fucking alien, and no one else realizes it by the end, but we the audience know, oh, that guy's an alien. So it's definitely one of those wacky, weird comedies that I guess you would say you don't see a whole lot nowadays, at least not in theaters. You don't really see a lot of that. And like I said, while Weird Al is fine, and aside from the Rambo parody, the ending loses a bit of luster with the telethon compared to the rest of the movie. Like I said, the love story, I didn't. Part of me would rather him get with Fran Drescher and build up Fran Drescher's character a bit more. I think that would seem like a more interesting fit for the two, with these two like unique personalities. But it, like I said, with the parodies that it features, the off the wall humor, with the likable cast. Like I said, Gedde Watanabe, Fran Drescher, Michael Richards, Kevin McCarthy, and so forth. I mean, come on. You have a fun Indiana Jones parody. You have a fun Rambo parody. You have Conan the Librarian. I could imagine if a younger person saw this, I wonder just how little of the references they would get. They'd be like, who the fuck is Geraldo? You know, what the fuck is the Beverly Hillbillies? So it's definitely a movie of its time. Maybe a younger person would see this and go, it's dated. Because again, it was a movie of its time. But I appreciate the creativity. And it's understandable why it got a cult following. Because you can see effort and imagination put into it. Even at times it's not 100% successful, it's goofy, it's stupid, but it's fun, and at least they tried. And I think the batting average, decently consistent. Like I say, if you like goofy, crazy, imaginative comedies, if you like movies that do a bit of that world building with fake commercials, fake little shows, if you're a fan of Weird Al Yankovic, it's definitely worth a watch. You know, it's a fun movie for what it needed to be. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.